Hey guys, Aaron Harrell here. I'm the author of the Menzoberranzan Excursion Trilogy, which is now, at last, complete. I wanted to take a few minutes to just talk about what happens in Act 3 and why you should buy it. Act 3 is the culmination of the entire trilogy. It really is the part where the motivations of the NPCs and the player characters and the overall story itself kind of come together and are realized. This is the opportunity for the NPCs to realize their aspirations or not with the help of the PCs. They get to make some major decisions about who ends up running the show, if anybody really. There's a lot of different ways that they could go with things. You also get the full take on the backstory underlying what is essentially a tale of romance and then vengeance that the trilogy is all about. The trilogy, if you've run the first two, you know, follows the backstory between Quenzeradul Avrandar and Ivelia Freth, two star-crossed lovers who, in Romeo and Juliet fashion, were of two houses that were opposing, and so their life together just could never be. And in fact, their union was an affront to Drow society, and as they are eventually captured and returned to the Underdark for judgment, some terrible things happen to them that ultimately kind of are the prelude to the Drider's Revenge, the first act of the trilogy. But really the third act is all about realizing the consequences of decisions and actions. And here there is a story award-based system that tracks the decisions that the characters have made and makes sure that the things that they do have an impact on how the story unfolds. That's really one of the key parts to being a strong dungeon master, is to making sure that the player characters' decisions have meaning and result in some really dramatic cinematic kind of scenes. And there are several cinematic encounters in this final act. There are some really cool enemies that the PCs have the opportunity to face against and hopefully survive. I'll let you take a look at the stat blocks and see what you think their odds are. There's all sorts of guidance in the trilogy, having run this full thing for my gaming group and then cleaned it up and edited it and improved it further. I have first-hand knowledge about how all of it plays out, so I include that in the form of various DM tips along the way. Everything is really nicely formatted. I'm a big fan of clean formatting and organization in a document, and you get all that experience that I have there, making everything really easy to access and to utilize as a DM. And so that's it. I just wanted to take a little bit to say I'm glad the trilogy is finally complete. Act 3 clocked in at 67 pages with all the reference documents and appendices and things like that. It took a good long while to finish off. It almost actually never came to be. I took a break as I was working on the trilogy and got really busy with life. I ended up going back to school, started a doctoral program. And as my kids are getting older, I get busier and busier still. But something called out to me, as I was coming to the turn of the holiday break here between the 21 and 22 semesters, and I thought, I have got to finish that trilogy now or I am never going to do it. And so I really buckled down and set aside dedicated writing time each and every day so I could bring the story to its full realization. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you check it out and that you have the kind of dramatic, cinematic, memorable experience that my players are still talking about to this day. So thank you, my friends. Game on and enjoy.